What you need to know about distracted driving next on Public Report.
TCT presents Public Report, a look at the issues and events of importance to our viewing area. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to this edition of Public Report. I'm your host, John Lemon. Today, I am joined by two guests, L.J. Lewis and J.B. Price, officers with the Greensboro Police Department. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Now, you're here today to talk about something that's incredibly important, and I have a teenage son, so I'm sure this applies to him, people that are just getting their license, as well as experienced drivers as well. So we're talking about distracted driving, in particular, the dangers of texting while driving. To get this conversation started, explain to us how big of a problem that really is.
1.6 million crashes occur every year as a result of distracted driving, and that's what the National Safety Council reported. Over 330,000 injuries just due to distracted driving. And you know, these are just ones that are reported. Distracted driving is harder to have statistics with versus impaired driving, because you know there's not a test for an alcohol test for like we have for impaired driving. You know, phone records are not as easily accessible, so it's harder to determine how many crashes really occur and how many injuries and deaths really occur as a result of texting and driving. With
this being such a serious issue, what are the penalties for someone who is caught texting while driving?
Let me explain. The North Carolina has actually passed a law that states that any driver who actually operates a motor vehicle on a street, highway, or a public vehicle area, which is a parking lot, and uses a mobile telephone device to enter a text or multiple letters of a text into a telephone, or reads an email, would be guilty of this offense. The fines associated with that is going to be a $190 court cost and a $100 fine, total of $290.
Since this has been in place, do you see those numbers decreasing as far as texting and driving? Is that a big enough deterrent to change those behaviors?
No, sir. No, sir. Not at all. What we are seeing, people are becoming a lot more aware that it is a law, that it is a problem. They don't want to get caught. However, the numbers really haven't been affected a lot by this law passed, because let's just face it, laws are only good if you obey them. Absolutely.
And we have to be reminded of that probably constantly. And I'm sure that you're engaged in several programs to make the public more aware, just as you said. As you're doing that, first of all, first part of the question I want to ask, what programs are in place to make people more aware?
Well, actually, there's several things we do. We do enforcement. We primarily want to target on education, because we feel the more people that know about the issue and the problems and the dangers that are associated with it, maybe their own personal decision, which is what's going to affect their driving habits, will have the greatest impact. So education is what we're putting on the primary front here when we're trying to speak with drivers about this bad habit. Therefore, right now, we've actually been able to partner with several agencies to be able to come up with a message to die for. It's an educational program. And Officer Lewis has got a good list of the folks that's helped us out and partnered with us in this initiative.
It's Guilford County Schools, Greensboro Fire Department, Guilford County EMS, VIP for a VIP program, State Farm, Wake Forest Air Care, don't want to leave anybody out, Gate City Towing, Forbes and Dick Funeral Service, George Brothers Funeral Service, Chick-fil-A has helped us out, CC's Pizza has helped us, and so we've,
That's a lot of support.
Yeah, a lot of support that we've gotten, and all of these people have spent a lot of time and money, to help us.
And I'm sure the effectiveness that you are experiencing couldn't take place without that type of assistance.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have to have the support from these other agencies, because we just couldn't do it ourselves.
You're on this program today to assist in making people more aware. Once people become aware, what is it that keeps them from changing? Is it just habits? Is it just a part of our culture? I mean, we're sitting here with, I have a tablet in my hand.
Sure.
You have a tablet in your hand. I mean, we're cyborgs, basically, and we love our technology. So has that become so much a part of our culture? Is that what makes it so difficult to stop these behaviors?
That, and I think the fact that it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to be the one that's going to crash. I'm not going to be the one that's not going to pay attention. I can drive in a straight line, no problem. I'll just do it while I'm driving in the straight line between stoplight to stoplight. The problem there comes the fact being we can't control what happens in front of us. Therefore, if we're traveling in a lane and someone stops suddenly in front of us, an animal runs out front, God forbid a child runs out in front of you, you don't have time to react. And that's the whole problem that we're running into is the reaction time. When we produce a lot of these programs in schools and these initiatives and educational programs, what we found out is the students, we actually have a set of fatal vision goggles that are a separate topic that simulate the alcohol impairment effects that it has on the body. And we actually put these students through a golf course, cone course with a golf cart, and they operate this with the fatal vision goggles on. Well, of course, the whole idea is you don't have the control you thought you might after drinking. So they're knocking over cones and they understand, wow, I didn't have that type of control.
Is it true that texting and driving is comparable to drunk driving?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, what I was going with that, I think it's actually worse. What we normally see when those same students knock down, let's say in the course, there's a possibility they can knock down 85 cones total, but they may knock down between 10, 12 cones. They usually knock down more while texting and driving.
So texting and driving is more dangerous than driving impaired by alcohol?
From our experience, what we're seeing with teen students, that's what we're running into, that they do have a lot more problems. You know, even though we always try to pick out the champion texter, you know, who texts over 5,000 texts a month, because most of those can do that without even looking at the keyboard. You know, it's just a dexterity type issue. That being said, when they're entering the text, they realize, okay, this is a fine motor skill to operate a motor vehicle. When I'm driving this car, I'm actually taken away from that cognitive effect to be able to operate safely. Therefore, I'm running off the road. The texts generally come out jumbled, and it throws a whole new wrench into the works there.
Typically, what ages are we looking at when we're looking at fatalities and serious injuries?
Well, texting and driving is obviously a problem with every age group, but specifically the younger age group. And that also could be because they're inexperienced, but 78% of high school teens have admitted to texting and driving. So, that's over 3/4 of the student population. And obviously 3/4 of the student population isn't drinking and driving, I'm sure. So that's another, just goes to show that it is a really big problem. But I would say that the younger generation is more of the problem.
The program, A Message to Die For, it's a theatrical production, a dramatization. It has been classified as a live crash scenario.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Well, this is actually, like Officer Lewis said earlier, it's a partnership that we've created with a lot of local agencies and private sector. Our idea is, the fact being really what motivated us on this is that there's nationally 11 teens to die in traffic crashes involving distracted driving a day across the United States.
11 a day.
11, over 4,000 a year. So and keep in mind, again, that's only the ones that we can prove that we're texting and driving. There may have been other factors involved that there might have been associated with that. So that being said, that's alarming enough. 4,000 a year, that's enough. So that being said, we need to do something else about the laws are in place, the enforcement, the notification, those things are in place. We need to do something to really make some type of impact. So actually what we've actually come up with is a program to where we go into these schools, we find the high school drama students, we actually find the leaders of the schools, and we work with them and partner with them to create the program. They're very excited.
Yeah, it gives them something different to do. They get to get out of the classroom. Every kid likes to do that. They really, really work hard to make sure that what they've done is their top-notch work, and they're really proud at the end of the program for the work that they've done, and they're getting class credit for it.
Western Guilford,
yes,
Grimsley High School, and Page High School.
Yes.
And those three schools, this program or this production has been put on there. And what kind of results? How do the students receive this?
It's been well received, and I know you would expect me to say that, but I'm serious. It has been impactful. We've had school administrators just come up and say, "This is great. We have got to get this to the rest of the students. How can we do this?" And they actually get kind of motivated over it. But there again, it just results from the four videos that lead up to it that are totally written by the students. We are actually in control of the live crash scenario with the police, fire, and EMS response, as well as Wake Forest Air Care. We are in control of that side of the scenario. However, the students are actually responsible for writing the skit that introduces a character who has a problem with texting and driving, and ultimately crashes on the last day. And the whole thing is a surprise to the students. They show them in the morning video blocks where they get an opportunity to watch these videos, these 45-second videos, totally random. They don't have an idea what it's about.
Well, it sounds like it would be very effective because pictures are worth 1,000 words, as they say. For those that are interested in contacting you, how would they do that?
You can log on to the Greensboro Police website, GSOPD. If they want to go to the website, I'm sure you guys could post that for us as well on your boards, but that's the best way to contact us, or you can contact us at 373-2216. Again, area code 336-373-2216.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about this production, and I'm glad to hear that the students have taken a vested interest in warning and preparing their peers. And we know peer-to-peer conversations a lot of times end up being the most effective. So we're going to continue this, and I can't wait till that opportunity comes up, because I definitely want to hear more about the program, A Message to Die For, and how it's helping to save the lives of teenage drivers. Thank you for coming out to the program.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this.